hero is one who has given his life to something bigger than oneself.
People will coming with all kind of ridiculous ideas. I said, you must give a selfie and said. I said, see, don't come up with foolish ideas and ask police to implement all these things over there, because our hands are full with a lot of other things. This is something unrelated to us and you are trying to give us these things.
What are the things you've actually brought in to sensitize public against women empowerment?
So they had to yell, shout, but that because you know how people behave also. So we had a lathi-less policing up till the 3rd of May. You don't have to go out of your mollycoddle and do something for a woman. A woman is already very, very strong. All that you have to do is you have to allow her to do what she wants to do.
Thank you
that
very much.
That itself is a big, you don't have to teach her hunting or teach her to feed her children or teach her how to run. She knows all those things over there. You just have to step out and allow her to do it over there. During my commissionership, I had a very unique distinction of out of the 21 deputy commissioners of police which Bangalore City had, I had 11 women who were met. Never in the history of Bangalore City we had so many. I had Nisha in my office as a DCP admin, Isha in the north my command center over there, then Rohini in south here, then Salma Fatima, Ifat Fatima over there, then Pavitra in means the city was being run by women and women ran it. It means unnecessarily I take a lot of credit. It is these girls who ran the city at that point.
Which is excellent.
And these girls don't like to be told a second or a third time. They have to be told only once. And when the girl is at a leadership level over there is no unnecessary latpat and loose talk level. Once you have told, the ACPs and the inspectors fall in line. Madam helidare, Madam has said it has to be done over there. So that, see, Nisha James, my DCP admin, she just picked up the phone and said that, sir, the migrant women are totally in lurch over there. I said, okay, what do you want to do? Sir, if you allow me to do something, okay, go ahead, you just do whatever you want. So she called up this Johnson & Johnson, SmithKline, and said, I want about 5 lakh sanitary napkins. Bangalore is a big city and there's millions of migrants. That was the time, madam, I will tell you, we have never seen these unseen hands of all over India which has built Bangalore's roads, Bangalore's apartments, Bangalore's malls. Means these people from Bihar, UP, West Bengal, Orissa, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Rajasthan and Maharashtra or North Karnataka. These are some tiny ants and they are suddenly having no food. So somebody heard Nisha very well, and one day early morning, about 3-4 days after that, I had 8 or 10 trucks early morning around my house, because my house is just adjacent to the office. Nisha madam, I said, some sanitary napkins, some 8 truckloads of sanitary napkins have reached over there. So this was something which the government should have been doing or the labor department should have been doing. She got it gratis, free, and we had it distributed. These girls did on their own such kind of outstanding work which I could not even fathom. And Rohini came up with another idea in Bangalore South. She said that why people should loiter around. She got hold of all the push cart people, said this push cart will sell rice, wheat as well as vegetables also and do everything on this particular road. You are in charge of this road. So you also make money, people also get, but don't try to exploit people. So it became a single point of contact, so less of contact. So people were coming with so many innovative things also over there. Then when the migrant crisis hit Mumbai, Hyderabad, etc., that was a huge challenge for us. Bangalore, there are all these people assembled at BIEC, there were about 50,000 crowd, stone, they were about to pelt. Since I grew up in Bihar, I had to speak to them in the Bhojpuri language over there, calm them down. The Gurdwara came to our rescue, means within 4.5 or 5 hours, they were able to get us about 8 to 10,000 rotis they got. ISKCON came to our rescue, means name them and they were with us over there. Nobody said, we'll not help you over there. That is why I salute the spirit of the city. It is the city.
Excellent.
I am unnecessarily taking credit for all this thing. It is the city and it is my officers, it is the bottom of the pyramid which did all that. So we ran with the help of Indian Railways about 300 trains from, and we didn't want to run it from Bangalore city or Bangalore cantonment. We ran it from Chikbanawar and Malur. So because if you start the train here, there is going to be a stampede over here. And people, it is going to be like a train to Pakistan type or a train from Lahore to Amritsar. People fleeing. So and when this the migrant issue started, I had to tell each police station how many migrant camps are there, which state, who is the leader, take their number and nominate an head constable is going to go and visit them. So if it was that construction company, we said better you ensure food is provided over there. Then Manivandan, who was labor commissioner, we asked some money, provide food here, there. And then the philanthropists in the city were remarkable. Anybody and everybody, means they just wanted to help some other person in distress over there. So this went for, this was how we were able to do it, because government alone neither has the resources, nor has the wisdom, nor has the patience to understand.
Or has the willpower.
No. None of these politicians were visible anywhere. None of these corporators or these.
But why is it so that the politicians don't come forward?
Whether the government kept them at bay. It is my officers who were there at every nook and corner. They were there, and they had a free hand, and they went and did it over there. If we had been if someone was interfering and helicoptering all over us, we would never have been able to do all these things over there. The Honorable Chief Minister was there, our Home Minister was there, our Director General of Police was there, and my team was there. That's all.
This is what the city always rises to the occasion at any time, in any crisis. I've seen this happen even when the floods took place, and even during this COVID time, because I know particularly a lot of my friends provided rice and vegetables, etc., and we gave it to them so that they could go and cook their food.
Truckloads of vegetables. Means things, suddenly someone would say that I have got 500 bags of rice to give. So I used to give it to my police station, because police station food was being cooked over there. Then wheat would come, vegetables. Then they said, okay, you give it to the local police. So much of sanitizers, biscuits, juices,
gloves.
Gloves came over there, PPE kits over there. Then deaths were less last year compared to what we had over there. But still, PPE kits we started giving to our.
But having this kind of an approach, I think, in all these kind of things, both with the public as well with the police, it sort of brings in a kind of bonding. The understanding that there are so many things that one can learn in this kind of a crisis, that compassion is what I think we actually learn from this. But apart from this, I think, there are also this kind of passion that you have in teaching, and you always talk about, unless you teach at the bottom of the pyramid and then you go up, the attitude that you have of making other people learn and empowering them. And unless India does that kind of empowerment of vocational training and making sure that these youngsters get trained to come up into a level like you are, we're never going to progress.
Madam, I have got tremendous faith in the strength of this country. If
Huge.
you look around, there are only 2 countries in the whole world. Then one foreign service officer told this to me. There are only 2 countries in the whole world where Indians are not present and are not. In fact, you can remove one country from that. That is North Korea and Pakistan. If you see Pakistan, it's our own people who are there. Means otherwise, every country in the world, Indians are present there, and they are earning a living, and they are practicing our customs, etc. over there. So why inside, means within the country there is so much to be done. We can be far, far superior and far ahead of USA, Europe, UK and China. But these people, those at the hem of the affairs, they hold our people in reins over there. That not able. I really don't understand. Give them an opportunity to our people over there. The whole of Joe Biden's cabinet, the sizable part of his India are Indians over there. You look at the UK, Rishi Sunak, and they're all Indians over there. They're in the UK. Where you go to, you see, look at Australia, look at Europe. So why within our country it is that? This is where I always feel that quality, healthy leadership is being denied to Indians. Is being denied. Only rhetoric or caste-based, religion-based, attention diversion-based kind of leadership we provide to our people, and our people also consume it like an opiate, and they move in waves, and then they start regretting, okay, this is our final, and they become fatalistic over there. Today also, at least our Karnataka is much. We look at North Karnataka or look at North Indian states over there. Such kind of stark poverty is there. Nothing. And there are people who claim themselves to be MLAs or members of parliament for 5 terms and 6 terms. If you go to their constituencies, there is no drinking water, or there is no clean water, no opportunity. They all come to Bangalore to find out a living. No job opportunity. You mentioned about skill. You mentioned.
Yes.
We don't skill our people over there. We only want them to make some graduates and BBA, MBA graduates over there, and they don't. We come and we don't get jobs for them over there. Highly educated, but totally unfit for now. We are not job ready.
But don't you think that these people are responsible because every 5 years they get elected by the same electorate?
See, I have found that the biggest reason for that is the people's fear. Good people don't want to be a part of governance. When they talk about fundamental rights, there are some fundamental, perform your fundamental duties first over there. Then, citizen is an important constitutional position, not President of India or Prime Minister or Speaker. We don't fulfill that. We don't go and vote if we don't want to contest over there. So this is where I have been exhorting that good people should come into the process of democracy. Then otherwise there is no alternative. If you choose between this and you choose between this, and after some time these two join hands. Okay, you have this, you take this, now you have to take this. So the people are the ones who are the worst sufferers. Alternatives should come. Youngsters should come into the political decision making. Fresh faces should come. All these old bandicoots over them should go and get out of this place over there. They will not go. They have to be thrown out and sent away. They have to be disempowered and sent away. So many people who are disenfranchised and they don't have the strength to come into the, they should be empowered to come out. So many backward class communities in Karnataka, 119 backward class community. Everybody doesn't get an opportunity. Among the scheduled caste, so many categories are there, they don't get a chance to come over there. Only few people run Karnataka and we are at their mercy.
Do you think there will ever be a change?
Why not? If this pandemic doesn't teach us, what else is going to come and teach us?
So you think you expect a pandemic to teach us?
Of course, if we don't
How many
learn
pandemics?
this, of course, see, pandemics are here to remind us to get back to basics over there. Means there is something like goodness. The pandemic also can't teach us. God help this country. That's all you can say about that. We were so big. If you still want money, still want caste, still want religion to whip up passions and make you a leader over there, it's very, very sad. And so many youngsters, they don't even want to come and participate in the democratic process because they think that there is no use in doing all that. You stay here. Do you know the name of your corporator? Can you pick up the phone and call your corporator and say, my road is full of food? You will not, because you have given up. If someone good was there, probably you would have asked. I am sure you are not even aware who your corporator. You may be aware of who your MLA is or your ministry is over there. So we have become, and they take advantage of your ignorance over there. So, because politicians and these people, so-called leaders who are there in the electoral framework, their biggest strength is the fear and ignorance of the majority over there. If the fear of the majority becomes a little more active, a little more alive, they can't be taken for granted. We need a leader to make them feel that good people also should come to the forefront of it.
But you've also been almost, to say, a great innovator in any kind of job that you have actually been. For example, if I were to tell the public here that the autos that were actually earlier yellow and black, you made it yellow and green, for example, the Volvo buses on the road, and so much that the KSRTC was actually competing even with the private sector, and you made it into a profit concern.
Transport has been a great passion.
And you've made transport really good. So really, it's only it's an attitudinal change, and public.
I love driving also. I do a lot of driving. I used to drive.
Driving, cycling, etc. Can you give us some examples, and what has been the public's response to this? Because
see, public also want change. They want improvement. See, when you can change your clothes, keep up with fashion, change your watch, change your television, and change so many things around. Don't you want your administration also to change for the better over there?
Absolutely,
So
absolutely.
Why should you? I don't think you should be punished with the same set of bad leaders or bad administration or bad governance over there. So whenever I have had an opportunity, I may not have had the innovative capability, but there is lot of brilliance at the bottom. Means I always like to listen to people who are there, down below over there. So you remember how the city was polluted with petrol fumes in before 2008. Means you could not breathe, and you could see that even if you closed all the doors, one auto rickshaw sound always used to be there.
Absolutely, yeah.
Tuck, 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 one sound would be there early morning.
So they used to
late
call them tuk-tuks.
Yes, yes, yes. So we went to the government and took a decision that first of all we'll make them into green autos, and that was the time when Gas Authority of India and so many gas projects were coming into them. So we promoted this. So we had a lot of problems. In fact, people cursed me. They had protests against me that why you brought all this nonsense over there, and we should go back again. They asked politicians who said, "Wapas roll back madri, yake idella beku? Why you want all this nonsense over there?" But finally, we were steadfast. My boss Shankarlinga Gowda was very, very supportive. He was our principal secretary transport, and the chief secretary was Mr. Sudhakar Rao, and of course the same chief minister was the CM. We did not allow matters to escalate up to this. So the converted majority of the auto rickshaw drivers, auto rickshaws from petrol to gas, and we made this into a green auto over there, for which we got a prize in Delhi at the shortest period of time.
Fantastic.
And, auto pollution came down drastically. Same thing, these book licenses, because we had two of the...
You did the credit card kind of this thing.
And I already told you, I had just gone out for a casual lunch and I came back, and Chief Secretary said, I want the design right now. Cabinet Secretary wants it, wants an approval. I said, sir, we are not engaged. Nothing do I want it another 1 hour, come and give. So I had to call my PA, Jayanti, and said, Jayanti, nodama, you take out this card. And, sir, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ವಿಧಾನಸೌಧ ಹಾಕ್ಬಿಡಿ ಸರ್, ಇಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಪುಟ್ಟ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಲಾಂಛನ ಹಾಕಿ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ನಮ್ಮ ರಾಜ್ಯದ ಲಾಂಛನ ಹಾಕಿ, then here the smart card chip will be there, and there next is put some 16 particular name, father's name, age, etc. So the yellow one will be for the driving license, the green one is going to be for the vehicle, because we wanted to have a greener vehicle over there. I mean, this is a PA's idea, not my idea over there. I thought 45, and that too the chief secretary, really the CS is calling. So we took out all this, we went there, it was got approved over that. No, they went up to Delhi and said, okay, approved. So means otherwise we had to have a analysis on all these things over there, discussion, rejection, too many brains. So it was only myself and the PA we decided. Until date it is still continuing over.
Which is so good. Absolutely. And you know, that credit card kind of thing. And what about the Volvo buses?
I was DCP South. Then Mr. Jairaj, who was additional chief secretary, said, learn something corporate man, don't be a 24-hour policeman. Then he put me in KSRTC, and then he left KSRTC, and Mr. Srinivas Murthy, who was corporation commissioner. Srinivas Murthy is a very, very polished, extremely learned man, and I enjoyed working under him. 2.5 years he was MD of KSRTC, and working under Mr. Srinivas Murthy was like earning an MBA degree. It was like earning, going to a school and going to an MBA school over there. So when he wanted to we have put Volvo buses over there. So we went to because KSRTC had having minus 700 crores loss over there, and it had already been divided into 4 parts. So what is it? It was just to close down, because Orissa had closed down, Madhya Pradesh had closed down, and DTC Delhi was having a bad time, Rajasthan was in bad time. So there is something called Association of State Road Transport Undertaking. So they were, instead of promoting the use of public transport, they were sort of facilitating the closure of these state transport undertakings over there. Mr. Srinivas Murthy won't give up over there. So he said, we will go to the chief minister. And when we went to SM Krishna, said, so we want to buy Volvo buses. Mr. SM Krishna took out his white handkerchief and looked at us and laughed at us for about 5 minutes. Here I want to close you down, and you want to buy a 45 lakh rupee Volvo bus, when an ordinary bus costs 7 lakh rupees. Mr. Srinivas Murthy, known for his dignity, poise, he allowed this. He said, sir, okay, we will not buy these buses, sir. I'll get 2 buses from Singapore. If we run these buses successfully, probably you could consider, but if we are having a problem, we can close and we'll do it. I said, okay, you do it. Then we immediately got 2 buses shipped from Singapore over there. So this entire transport runs on 2 words: cost per kilometer, earning per kilometer. CP came and EP came. At that point of time, before these Volvo buses came, the CP came, means for the entire corporation, the cost per kilometer of running one bus was 36 rupees. For me to run 1 kilometer any bus, it is 36 rupees and some paisa. And what was my earnings per kilometer? My earning was 11.5 rupees. So for every kilometer I ran, 36 minus 11 was the government was losing over there. So it was profitable to keep these buses in the depot over there and not run them at all over there. But when this Volvo came, And of course, this is what I told you, is the average one. Every sector, like for the Rajhamsa has got separate, then the luxury has got separate, and then the ordinary bus has got separate, the shuttle has got separate one. When we brought the Volvo buses over there, the Volvo is a very high class Swedish bus over there. So we had people trained over there. So we ran this bus from Bangalore to Mumbai, and Mumbai back to Bangalore over there. So and one bus we thought we'll keep it from Bangalore to Chennai and Chennai to Bangalore. So the earning, we hyped it up with some ads. So 75 rupees was the earning on the EPK was 75 rupees and CPK was 36 rupees. So I had to spend 36 rupees for running 1 kilometer and I was earning 75. Imagine the kind of happiness we all got over there. We thought that this bus should not stop. It should keep on moving now. It should keep on moving because the more it moved, the more money it earned over there. So we also became very greedy over there. So the bus, earlier our Ashok Leyland buses would leave around 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the afternoon for Mumbai. Next morning at 8 o'clock it used to reach there over there. And again at 3 o'clock it used to leave, and again the next morning so this Volvo bus was actually very, very fast also. It means it could go beyond 110, 120 kilometers per hour. So we started the bus as late as about 5 o'clock in the evening over there. And this bus would reach early morning in Chennai, there in Mumbai over there. Crawford Market it used to reach over there. And this was a new experience for our people also over there. And then because I cannot run a local transport there, because when it came back here early morning at 8 o'clock, I would quickly make a trip to Mysore and bring it back over there so that I could earn more money instead of keeping. So as soon as the bus came, a crew would be waiting immediately to be taken to the depot, cleaned, diesel topped up, then do a checking over there, bring it to the stand, take it to Mysore and come back. The moment it used to come back from Mysore, another crew used to be waiting over there, clean it, top it up, take it away to Bombay over there. So only half an hour, 45 minutes, what we call as crew, in transport terms we used to call it as fleet utilization. Earlier our fleet utilization for the normal buses was, for the entire corporation, was about 235 kilometers. This means every bus of KSRTC ran 235 kilometers over there. Now with Volvo, my fleet, every Volvo was running 950 kilometers per day. See the four-fold jump. So this means like an airplane makes money when it is in the sky, not on the ground.
Absolutely.
A bus makes money when it is. So then we went to CM and said, sir, things have improved. When okay, you bring it to the cabinet, and then we got a soft loan and escrow account, and the first lot we bought about 45 buses. We engaged one US company, because at that time the IT boom also was there along with SM Krishna. So we bought one. We hired somebody from. We gave this project to overseas consultant over there, who would book. You could book a seat sitting at your home, and in an airline at least you had to come and take your check-in and had. Whereas we could. There's a passenger could choose the seat also, and then we standardized the whole thing, because earlier every bus had different seating arrangement. Means lot of reverse engineering also took place to see that this is then how those days we had that Airtel and that Hutchinson Vampova, they used to have customized shops over there. So we also want to do such kind of things, so say that you can come there, you can we call it as an experience center. So people were surprised. How is it that KSRTC is metamorphosizing into? Then we took this crew and got them trained by Air Hostess Academy to see that they don't spit around, they don't scratch their noses over there, they don't scratch their hair, they don't behave. So say please, thank you, sorry, all right, it's okay, and help people. Means.
Do you mean the government conductors and the drivers?
I'll tell you, lot of them. There once again I saw so many women conductors became very, very, said, sir, I want to be and the Volvo driver was called a Volvo captain over there. So small things now make lot of, and then at that time Captain Gopinath was trying to make his aeroplanes like buses, and we were trying to make our buses like aeroplanes over there.
So it is very good. See, this is what you think out of the box, and it really makes a difference.
And these ideas come from our own people down below over there.
Just think out of the box. And if you put yourself into the consumer's shoes, you are only saying the customer is the king.
Yes.
And then you know what the customer wants, you deliver that service, voila.
We started a department of commuter relations over there. Earlier, it was assumed you take a bus from a depot, put it in a bus stand, start and go away. Sometimes you would have also seen the passenger would be running behind the bus and the driver will think, I am a powerful man. No, it is his bus, not your bus. You are only a driver. The bus belongs to the passenger. You will stop, help him inside, ensure he's seated, is he comfortable,
Absolutely.
and you will be surprised, sir, they would not put the destination board properly. Lights would not be functioning, buses would be dirty, seats wouldn't be clean, seats would have bed bugs. So we started getting these companies to come and remove the bed bugs. I mean, it's all unheard of things which we all these new things which we had to do. So to make because the passenger is the boss.
They pay your salary.
From there the money is coming over there. So our daily collections, which used to be around 90, 100 lakhs to 1 crore every day, means within 5.5, 6 months went to 3.5, 4 crores. And during festivals it used to go to 7.5 crores over there. And we would ensure that not a single bus is lying in the day. We repair buses overnight. You can't say that, okay, it's 5 o'clock in the evening, tomorrow morning we'll come at 10 o'clock and repair. Nothing doing, you better repair this bus. This bus has to be, and by late night, tomorrow morning it has. And in a transport department, the buses have, there should be no breakdowns, there should be no accidents, and
Cancellations.
There should be no cancellations.
Absolutely.
So people started having faith in us over there.
That was really good, because nobody will go to a private.
I made a presentation on turnaround of KSRTC in Istanbul.
Fantastic.
So, and we told them that we are a profit-making corporation over there. They were very surprised. How is it that the government company is a profit-making corporation over there? So means you become passionate, because with this people down below, they have become so supportive for all these things.
And if every other company does the same thing in the government, the private sector will not have to flourish, and the Aam Janta will be the king. And it is
we were first choice.
Absolutely.
By choice. And
Absolutely.
then so many things he brought over, so many small, and we used to send our depot managers and conductors and drivers to Singapore, to Dubai and all. So they let them go and see and come back over there.
They learn a lot.
We created a separate corpus for them to. Mr. Srinivas Murthy was an extraordinary managing director who had a very, very broad mind, would never get perturbed. And we were all these loss-making depots. We used to go there and say, why is it this depot is making loss? We used to see when people are coming from villages to the city, our bus would be going from the city to the village. And when people are going home from city to the village, our bus would be coming from village to the city. So we had to change all these things to see that it is meant for them.
But also looking into the lighter side about sports. Now you've been a police officer, you've been an avid, not only a teacher, but also a cyclist. And sports has been a passion for you. So cycling also has been a passion. When did you develop
cycling? Has been a great passion for me. In fact, I grew up in North India. My schooling I did in North India over there. My father worked with the state government of Bihar. I have done a lot of cycling in Bihar, Ranchi, Gaya, Bodh Gaya, Muzaffarpur and all those places. When Indira Gandhi inaugurated the bridge across the Ganga in 1982, we were one of those first people to go on cycle. Myself and my classmate Neeraj Akhoury. Neeraj Akhoury is occupying a very senior, he is the MD and CEO of ACC Cements. He has his airplane and it physics server. That was the one with how the cycle connected us. We went to Muzaffarpur, and another friend, very close friend by name Prem Prakash, who is into education. So that was, and I've done numerous cycle trips between Patna and Varanasi, Delhi and Agra, and then Bangalore, Mysore. I've done that on my single speed. I've done discovery of Karnataka on my single speed Hercules cycle. Then I stopped it. Again in 2009, some friends said, why don't you start once again? So I bought a very expensive, I bought a Colnago for ₹1,00,000 and cycled from Bangalore to Ooty. When I was transport company, I was an Inspector General of Police. I thought I'll not be able to do it. But when I was able to do it, I felt very happy. It was a 7-day, 800 kilometer cycling over there. Then in between also I started motivating and organizing several, and Bangalore has become a cycling capital. Then we did, when I was in KSRP had a time when we had a lot of suicides, depression, resignations. We wanted to do something hardcore act. So we did a cycling from Bidar to Bangalore, touching all the districts, 1750 kilometers, 1750 kilometers, 3 days of cycling, 1 day rest, 3 days of cycling, 1 day rest. And we did not want to depend on anybody. Our KSRP, our own trucks, our own cooks, our own dining tables, we did not want to depend on the local civil police also for it. And we had good people to advise us over there, people like Deepak Maji Patel and Sedar Papi Shetty, Murli, etc. We designed a dress for them, which was she's a dress by Heine. Heine is the one who do the dress designing for Tour de France over there. And we got very good cycles from Indonesia, and our planning was very good. We had a tour, we had a tour manager over there, we had physiotherapists over there, we had mechanics over there.
And this was in aid of what?
This was just to unify the police department over there.
Okay.
And every day in the morning, we used to do some Swachh Bharat. We used to clean the wherever we did tree plantation. We used to call the Muslims to the temple and have breakfast with them, or another place we used to call the Christians and Muslims to the church over there. So all these things, at that time we started Endendingu Nimondige. At any time we are always with you, the police department. So to bring them together. Then when the girls in the police department told me, sir, why you are not organizing one for us? So I organized one program for the girls from Belgaum to Bangalore, 5-day, 100 kilometers every day over there, in which my wife, who's a pediatrician and a doctor, she also participated. 4 women IAS officers also participated.
My God, this was great. Yeah.
That was why the chief secretary told me, Bhaskara, you did something which neither IAS chief secretary can do nor the IAS association can do. I said, sir, these girls are fond of cycling and these girls are occupying very senior positions.
Absolutely.
One of them is the deputy commissioner of Kodagu district. Other is the CEO Zilla Parishad there. Other girl, that Fauzia Taranum, was a commissioner for horticulture, and KR Nandini was IAS topper. She cycled all the way from Belgaum. And 2 women superintendents of police, 4. So, and there also we had a very good preparation, because Samant, my tour director, he's from KSRP, he's now become an assistant commandant. We had planned, we have one bus we had removed and made a mobile toilet, we had made it into a lounge. We had about 4 physiotherapist girls. Every day in the evening, these girls, we used to have stretching for these girls over there. Prior to leaving, we had practice sessions in the proper uniform, and then we had a tail, head, and girls, when they completed, they were in tears. They said, we could have never completed this kind of thing. Similarly, a big number of girls, we took them to Hiriyur. These girls who had never seen a well in their life properly because they were from North Karnataka. We made them jump into water just 200 feet deep. They did adventure sports. So all that you have to do, you have to create. Sports creates tremendous, it equalizes everybody.
Absolutely.
And a sportsman, whether he's a doctor, whether he's a policeman, whether he's a bureaucrat, is always an asset to that organization.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because I think this creates a comradeship between everybody.
No, you know how to handle failure.
Yes, absolutely.
Handling failure is a very difficult
And also the mind of people.
Yes.
To understand the mind of people, you need to have a lot of skills. And this helps you to break barriers, and it's so important.
Exactly.
I mean, you're such a multi-skilled person.
People together, madam.
You're a team
my
person.
only skill is I am able to get this, use their skill and give it
Yeah,
back to
but
them,
that's
and
also
it gets multiplied.
yeah, but that's an art, and that's an art, and that's not available with everybody. Because as a leader, unless you get people together and you grow people together, and you are able to see their skills and hone the skills and see that they come up, then only a leader, because a leader doesn't create followers, a leader creates leaders so that they can lead other people, and that is a true leader.
Unless you take risk, madam, nothing is possible. You can't sit and theorize. You can't learn swimming by reading a book on how to swim.
Absolutely.
You have to get.
You have to get into the water,
yes.
and you have to get no banks around you,
Yes.
and you have to get dirty inside. You have to
That
make
way,
sure.
Police department, I'm telling you, ma'am, right from my police constable up to the Director General of Police, every day we interact with people. Each of my police constables or police women, each of them has got tremendous amount of leadership qualities, because our training, this is not any other department where you can just join in with your qualifications you come. After you have joined, you have to be trained, and our training, whether it is for an IPS officer, whether it is for a constable, same. Get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, do PT, parade, then learn your weapons, learn law, learn challenging situation, goes through case law. So that builds, police department is very, very strong family, and very hardworking, very loyal, and I've been here for 31 years. I feel extremely fortunate to have been a part of this huge. We may be having our own jealousies, pettiness, fights, but still we are a part of a huge, big family over there.
Which is good, because when you feel like that, it's only then you progress as a group and as a team.
And we are well protected. Nobody dare touch us over there. Neither any politician or any rogue or anybody for that matter over there. Mess around with a cop, the cops will gather like crows and hit you back over there.
Absolutely, but that's what they are. No, security means that's what it is. So that's very, very interesting. So I think, Mr. Bhaskar, it has been an absolute pleasure to talk to you. But at the same time, my viewers would like to have some suggestions from you, because there may be the young Bhaskar around in the audience over here. And what is the kind of message you would like to give them in a few bullet points?
Live your heart and mind, have tremendous faith in yourself, ignore the naysayers, and do what you feel like doing, and do it with passion. Passion creates so much of energy inside that whatever you feel like doing, you will be able to do it over there. You need not be a copy. Whatever, even if you want to clean the streets, you should do it the way that nobody else can do it over there. Want to be an engineer, be the best engineer over there. And then most important is that along your path, you will witness lot of failures or hindrances. Don't get cowed down. These failures make you even more strong. I have failed in my third standard I failed in my fourth standard I failed. Even within the service I have failed number of times. I have gone and knocked on so many doors asking for a position I have not got over there. You fail so many times over there, but if you have confidence, you respect yourself. I am telling you, if you respect yourself and have your own pride, you can achieve anything over there. And it is not that, oh, I am not meant for this. I want to do it, but I cannot. You can do it. You will definitely do it. I come also from a very, very humble background over there with very less means. And my father gave me education, gave me food, but he said, the world is yours. Go kiss the world. Do whatever you want. So I selected myself. And you have to carry out experiment like successful, polite disobedience to achieve your own goals. God bless you.
So thank you very much, Mr. Bhaskar. It has always been a pleasure, and I'm so happy to have had you here. So that was Mr. Bhaskar Rao for you, the police officer with a gentle heart and a very strong mind. This is what you must know about police officers, because they're always not with the lathi and a khaki, but you must understand that behind all that, they're also looking after the security for us. While we are asleep and while we are doing our work, they are protecting us. Imagine if that first time that we had the COVID, if Mr. Bhaskar Rao was not there, how we would have had. He saw to it that that COVID was dealt with an iron hand. And believe me, from our doctor's side, I can say a big thank you to him, because we understood about COVID a lot from them, and that was an ancillary service that he did for us. That was not the police job. It was a job that they learnt on the job and we learned from them, because the hygiene of COVID has taught us so much that we must carry it out even during the non-COVID times. And of course, with Mr. Bhaskar Rao, we have learnt a lot more, that police officers can also be interested in sports. They can also look at women empowerment, and of course look at everything else like you and me. So the next time you see a policeman, don't look at him with fright and don't have any ideas of flight. Look at him as a friend, and that's what I would like you to see. So till next time, and for the next episode of Dr. Kamini Rao's Masterclass, bye till then.